Welcome back to another episode 2 of Everyday Life with Paul and Steve. I'm Paul.
I'm Steve, and on this show we talk about everyday life, from things that are going on in our life to things going on in the world and our production company as well.
But specifically in this episode, we are going to be talking about gardening, we're going to be talking about gaming streaming, and we're also going to be talking about some cooking videos.
That's right.
But the first thing that we're going to talk about, we are going to talk about our gardening. So let's get right into that, Steve. Tell us a little about our gardening. Our garden.
Well, so before we even started the garden, we both kind of knew we wanted one. And then we looked up a couple different types of gardens we could make, either a raised garden or maybe like a box garden or something. And then we had to find a spot that we wanted to make it. So we looked around the backyard, found one or two spots we were thinking. And one of the spots that we ended up where we made it, there was a giant, it's like the really tall grass. I think they're called lily leaves or something. I have no idea what they're called.
Yeah.
They're the giant grass that suck up a lot of water. It's probably like 15, 20 feet wide by like 2 feet. In width.
So those dimensions are right.
Yeah, so about 20 feet by 2 feet. And took us like 3 or 4 hours to literally rip all these up. We had to cut them down, rake them out. Then we had to get into the dirt and actually pull all the roots out so they wouldn't regrow. So that took us at least like 3 or 4 hours just to get the roots out.
A good Saturday afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say at least.
It was yard work. We started singing a song.
Yard work. Yard work.
You got to do something to pass the time.
No, it was fun, though. It was nice. I felt it was really rewarding, going out there all day and ripping up all that stuff and seeing what we ripped out to what we did. Because it was just a nice, good amount of soil underneath all of that. Because those plants, from when I talked to one of the neighbors, those plants have been there for like 20 years. So there's just been some good soil
lots
underneath
of creepy
there.
crawlers in there. It was good. It's good soil. And if you actually look at the neighbors behind our fence, that's literally what it looked like on our side of the fence. It was just a giant bush of grass.
Yeah, you just got to mirror
much.
it, basically. Yeah, and you'll get basically what was there.
So after we did all that, what did we end up putting in there?
We went to a local gardening store here in Roseville, and we ended up getting some basil.
A $10 shovel.
$10 shovel.
Used shovel.
The last shovel that was in the store. I was like, can I get this? He's like, yeah, $10. I'm like, it's used. He's like, yeah, it's the last one. Take it or leave it. Yep. Which was a really cool store. It was like an aquarium.
Yeah.
It had planting
really
stuff.
Cool.
Wasn't there like a lizard? A big
there's an iguana. Giant
yep.
iguana there. So they had a couple things. All the they had fish for like $300 there. I was like, I'm not buying any of that. They had like coral and stuff. Really beautiful. Some of the stuff.
Some nice plant life that you can see underneath there. Absolutely.
Definitely. Like you said, so yeah, we ended up with basil. That was the first one.
Some rosemary.
Rosemary, which we actually used on some. We've used both of those now that we think about it.
Gordon Ramsay steak that we looked up. He calls for rosemary in it. And honestly,
rosemary,
that was
butter,
the only
garlic.
reason why I got the rosemary, is to make that meal specifically for the Gordon Ramsay steak.
It was delicious.
Yeah, it was absolutely delicious. So going down the line, so we did rosemary, and then what was next? We had cucumbers.
Cucumbers, those are a little rough because we can come back to it, I guess. All right, but the cucumbers are in a tough situation right now. But after the cucumbers are the jalapenos, which
those are flourishing.
They're looking great. Beautiful green. The peppers aren't quite there yet. They look like they're starting to bud. But, they're not quite there yet. After that are those little cherry bombs. They're supposed to be like little hot peppers. Those are getting going. And then the red peppers are looking beautiful. Those are getting huge.
Yeah, they are.
Like, I can't believe how much those have grown already.
In like, what, about 3 weeks now?
Something like that,
3 weeks we started. Because it was like one of the first things we did getting into this house.
Within the first couple days,
Yep, starting that garden and getting that going. Because it was like, it's now or never. It's already the not middle of summer, but first week of June, basically.
Right. And, if you know anything about Michigan, we only got a few good months of summer, and then it's right back
and then
to
it's
snow.
Gone, yo.
Yeah. And then lastly, we had the tomato plant, which
those
also,
poor tomatoes.
Oh my gosh, one of them's looking good now. It's looking really great, but the other one's still looking a little rough. And those and the cucumbers got hit the hardest because what happened to our garden?
Well, so like we said, the garden is in the back of the garage of the house, and there's these plants here. And so I got told it got a little wet back there, but I was like, it's not going to be too bad, It's maybe some puddles here and there. But we had our first major rainstorm in Michigan, and our whole entire garden flooded.
Yes.
Like, everything was underwater. So I remember I walked outside. I was like, hey, Steve. He's like, what's up? I'm like, our garden's underwater. And you're just like, what? So we just ran.
Gone.
It's gone. We ran out there. We grabbed a bucket. And we were just doing like an assembly line. I would scoop the water out, and we'd pass it down the line, just throw it, and we slowly kept doing that.
It worked.
It worked. So we thought of a good idea to build a barrier around it.
Yep.
Which would probably have been smart from the beginning, but it's our first time.
And we just found some random pieces of wood
that were left over from the old homeowner. And we just kind of put one this way, a couple down the line this way. They all kind of fit in their own weird way.
But they definitely don't match, which is okay. But and they're not all connected. There's gaps. So maybe next year we'll rebuild it. But as of now, that's what our garden looks like.
So what happened on the next rainstorm?
The exact same thing happened. So what we did, though, literally to try to like get some of the water to drain and run a little better is we made little runoff like paths.
Trenches almost?
Trenches, yeah. Around each one and then along the back by the fence.
Just so we could funnel some water.
And it really did. It worked. But eventually, again, like
so much water gets in there.
We hit like 2 tropical storms.
Within like 3 or 4 days.
Made it all the way from, down south up to Michigan and just wrecked that place. And it's like.
But I think some of the stuff in the garden, like the peppers and the basil and some other things in there, they're flourishing after all of that rain and the scorching heat that has been coming.
The mix between the two, a lot of water and a lot of heat because it's a hot summer in Michigan. And the fact that we at least got the water out of there so they get plenty of water. Like I haven't had to water them in a few days.
No, we were always so worried. Like, should we water them? Should we water them? But like, no, because when it rains that hard, that soil stays so moist.
It's wet, exactly.
For days at least. So they're still absorbing all that water.
Right. So, but it's good. I mean, it's a good start, and I'm glad we got to use a couple of the plants already. I feel like the red peppers, I feel like those are next to go. We're going to have to pick one of those, cut it in half, and eat it one day. Maybe, if you're lucky, we'll do it on the show.
See how hot it is.
Try not to choke on it. Yeah, I don't know. One of them is kind of dark. The one's looking a little dark. I don't know if that
they are
means
red.
spice
I mean, it could because it says red, so maybe it's
color.
It's turning from that greenish lime to like. Yeah, it's probably going to darken and turn into like a
burgundy
red.
Eventually, like a deep red, right?
It's just crazy seeing the transition of all these plants, even how small they were to what they are now. You know, especially the peppers, because those started off as little plants like this. Now they're up super high. Almost feels like they're trees back there. They're that tall. I mean, obviously I'm over exaggerating, but compared to the other ones, they are spiking in growth.
And then the tomato plants hopefully will eventually grow up the fence or something. Or
we'll have crossing my fingers.
Or we'll have to get one of those little cones, like the dog collar cones, but the metal ones.
So literally right before we went on air, I saw a meme, and it was like, all you gardeners out there that are growing your own garden, just to save $2.17 in tomatoes.
It's pretty cheap, right? But I mean, it's also a better feeling,
No,
when
it
you
is.
could make something, from farm to table kind of thing. Like, I've never been hunting, but anyone I talk to that hunts, they're like, it's an incredible feeling to be able to, first off, go through the hard work it might be a couple
sitting
days.
there for 10 hours every day.
Could be 2-3 days. Some people a week they hunt, especially if you're a bow hunter. Like, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But anyway, you kill this thing. You have to clean it, gut it right there, carry it all out, and then preserve it, which either freeze it or whatever they do. I don't know. And then when you cook it and eat it, like, you get that full satisfaction, just like fishing.
Yeah.
You're like, I've been fishing, so I can relate with that. You catch the fish, you get that little fight, that struggle, and you finally get him. And you go, ah!
Yeah, I went camping, and there's this fish that I put like a whole hot dog on there. Every time I kept throwing it out, he bested me. He definitely bested me. He got me good. I broke off, kept bringing a hot dog. I was like, I'm fed up. It's dark out. You win fish. Yeah, I'm impressed. And I'm not a fisher. I don't fish. I'm not, I'll do it, but like the whole hunting and fishing, that's not it's too much waiting for me. I'm a very go. I don't want to be sitting still,
Gotcha.
Maybe 30 minutes max would be my top, because I couldn't imagine hunting, sitting in those little spots and just.
Can't move, can't make any noise.
Yeah, no, that ain't me. I need to do like glamping hunting where like. The animals are like
they're trapped in the campsite.
Yeah, and I can find them that way, because you could sit there for days and not find anything.
Right.
Like, who wants to do that? But I get it. It's like we go up north, we have fun, blah blah blah. But
and like I said, I totally can relate with like the gardening in that same manner, where there's some satisfaction to it, and that you put the time and effort into making it.
So with our garden, it started small, obviously. We're going to give you guys updates, maybe in a couple weeks here, or maybe in episode 4 or 5, what our garden's looking like, because right now it's a small little garden. We got stuff flourishing, some of this, like the basil and the rosemary we use, but the stuff that we're waiting on, like the peppers, tomatoes, we can't really, or the cucumbers, we can't pull that out yet. So they're going to take probably another month or so to grow to reach their full potential. So obviously, once it gets to that point, we'll bring up this again and kind of let you guys know
keep
how
you updated as it goes. But
how the garden's going.
Yeah, the peppers I think are the next. I
think
we should do them.
We
on
do
the
love
show.
our peppers.
I think we should do them on the show.
You think so? We each just try a little guy.
Yeah, just just so they can have our input.
Well, you said it, so it's got to be done now, right?
Go.
It has to be done.
In stone.
So, besides gardening, we have other activities that we enjoy together to do, and one of them has been video games.
Yes.
And we do play a lot of video games. So the big thing right now, and for a while, has been the streaming of gaming. So we purchased Elgato gaming capture card, and for the last year or so, we've been kind of capturing footage of some of the games that we've been playing.
It gives so much detail.
Zombies is one of them. You got to give the shout out to Call of Duty Zombies.
Oh yeah, one of the best games ever.
Oh my gosh, I used to love that game.
Don't you still love it?
Of course I do, but I'm talking even, I think it was in high school when the first one came out, maybe like junior high school, and we would play that game for hours. There was only two doors.
Yeah.
Was it 2 or 3 doors? The mystery box never moved.
Yep, the first map on World at War.
Yeah, oh my gosh. We would play for about an hour, get to around like 17, 18, that was a good match, and then we'd die.
And it just kind of expanded from there. We played almost all the Black Ops, or World at War, Black Ops, and Black Ops 2 maps. We've captured a lot of footage of those games. And we tried to do little things like that where we roll a dice, right? We roll a dice and pick the map. So we kind of decide,
to randomize it a little bit to change up. So
just so it's not like, oh, what map are we going to play? You sit there like on Netflix and you take an hour to pick a map.
The overwhelming vast majority of... I remember there was a Jimmy Neutron thing where he said, in the future, there will be a television with 1,000 channels, but nothing to watch.
Nothing to watch.
Yeah, you're literally like paralyzed with too many options.
Yep. But so kind of get back on track here. Once we got the house here, kind of turned into a production house. You know, I wanted one day to figure out how can I get streaming perfectly. You know, where I can start streaming to Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. So the process is you have to get an Elgato capture card first, where you can transfer your gaming footage from your Xbox onto your computer, which can be used by the Elgato gaming capture software, or OBS, which is the really nice one. That's the one where you can set scenes and where you can like bring in your webcam, you can bring in, game full, your face full, like full screen and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool because it kind of reminds me of the whole production element, kind of how we did it, where we made that line, it was the flow. You bring up the title card, then you bring in the person talking, then you bring in the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool because it's just a production in itself, and you need a whole kind of team to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Without two of us, it would have been, there's no way it would have had a flow like that. It did. It flowed nicely because you were concentrated on just playing the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I was messing around with changing, from screen to screen, moving everything, which was, it was a nice flow that way.
And the thing was, this guy right here is called the H4n Zoom Pro, and we need this to be able to capture audio. Yes. Wow. We need to capture audio from ourselves into the game so it can combine the video and the audio, because you don't want just crappy audio from a webcam on your computer. You want something nice like this that's going to project. Yeah, you're going to project really good audio. So that's what I was trying to figure out over the first couple of weeks, is how am I going to set this all up? So I finally realized, okay, I have this. I have the Elgato capturing card, and now I just kind of combine them all together.
Yep.
And what I want to try and accomplish out of that, I think really cool videos are like where you play a game and you explain what you're doing. So that's why I came up with Crazy Taxi. One of our favorite games is where we, played Crazy Taxi so many times and you finally got to the S ranking, which is the highest rank you can get, and obviously you get more points above that, but your goal is to get to the S rank. So we just sat there one night and we took turns back and forth, and we just kept trying to get an S rank. And it's really hard to do,
Definitely. You have to get really lucky as well as skilled. And like you said, so we played so many different times going back and forth, we started figuring out what was the best route, because the way it works is certain people will be at certain spots at certain times, and if you're not at that spot at that time to pick that person up, somebody else will be there with a different route.
Yep.
So all your timing has to be correct. And then knowing the map obviously helps from playing it.
Yeah, so many times. So one thing I love about it, it's like an arcade game. As I've gotten older, it's harder for me to pay attention or dive into like a huge RPG game that takes 40, 50 hours or something really, long like that. Because with an arcade game, you pick up one game of Crazy Taxi, it takes 5 to 10 minutes. If you play a good run, then you're done. And then you're like, okay, I kind of got my gaming fix for a minute, and then it's just.
But again, also like you said, we play on arcade style where it's not timed. What it is you start with a certain amount of time, and then depending on the more people you pick up and the more points you get more time, and you get to keep going. And it's so
it's a very fun game because it's like you said, it's time based, and you just want to get to that next spot because you can add more time, you can lose more time, not lose more time, just get 0 time. If you get a bad, normal, or speedy, you always want the speedy. But the game is about being so precise, and if you hit one little car, your car could flip, fly, go wherever, and you're just like, well, if I just lost 15 seconds there, I'm probably not going to get the S now.
And also, speaking of hitting cars, is the more stuff you don't hit and the air you get off ramps and then drifting and stuff, you get extra points for all that. And the thing is, you don't if you hit something. As soon as you hit something, you go back to 0.
Yeah.
And so that's how you get those giant combos, is when you just go down a highway the opposite direction.
And then you're just
ding, passing car. Exactly, without hitting any of them.
Yep, all those crazy through combos. You can just rack it up to 22, 23, 24 bucks. But the moral of what we brought this up was I actually got to accomplish that feat. I'm probably about, maybe 7th or 8th time
that night.
That night. That night. We finally got it. Because it's difficult to talk what you're doing and play the game at the exact same time. Because then you're focused on playing, but then you also have to worry about entertaining the person that's watching you. Because that's kind of the whole
and explaining what you're doing, kind of.
Yeah. So it's a fine line of what you want to do, and I finally got it. And it's really it's a nice feeling when you actually get it. And if you want, we're gonna throw it up on our YouTube page. You can watch it, and you can check out how I get my S ranking in Crazy Taxi. Obviously, there's plenty of other routes, but I found like that's the easiest and the best one. So check it out. If that inspires you to play some Crazy Taxi, send us some of your videos, and we'll check them out if you find a different route. Yeah. And that'd be kind of cool just to see what other people do, because I only know that run because I learned it on the mobile version. Yeah. And then I transferred it over to the game on the Xbox.
So how much easier was doing the boost? There's a boost where you switch
so much
gears.
Easier.
You can switch gears from reverse to drive, and it'll give your car a boost to pick up speed. And I know sometimes it's difficult on the controller, but you said on your phone.
Oh, on the phone, it's just a drive button and a backup button. If you just double tap drive, it boosts. So you just go boop, boop, and you fly.
Like a Tesla.
The hard part was the drifting on the mobile. Drifting was tough because you had to double tap the left, but it would immediately fly you out like that. So that was the difficult part. But the boost and the mobile game was really easy, super easy. But so kind of going back to Call of Duty, I've been wanting to try and do something. I don't know if we're gonna do it on the podcast yet, or we're gonna make an actual tribute video. Yeah. But I've been getting a big catalog of kind of breaking down every single map in Call of Duty Zombies from World at War all the way to Black Ops 2, because you can kind of agree with me. Those are the better ones. I feel like those, before it got too ridiculous and too much stuff going on. Yeah. But I just would like to either, have a full discussion about Call of Duty Black Ops and kind of our favorite moments, our gaming and stuff like that. Some of the maps,
not the mystery boxes, but like the special guns.
Yep.
Not just the ray gun, the other ones that they have.
Or just how we beat the map in some of the games.
That's true too, almost like you walk through Crazy Taxi.
Because we have some of our same routes on some of these maps, so each person has their own little different style.
We have goals that we figured out that work. You got to get to this point by a certain round, or get Juggernaut,
or
by
get
this
part by
whatever.
This, or get this gun by here. Yeah, it's kind of all. We played a lot of Zombies, so we kind of figured out most of the maps. But like I said, I don't know if we're gonna dedicate a whole episode to it, or we're actually gonna come up with a feature of it where, because like I said, we have been collecting a lot of Call of Duty footage, and it's just I don't want it to go to waste because it's such a great game. It's probably one of my favorite games because it's just so fun.
It's mindless too.
Yeah, you just can sit down for an hour or two, play if you just kind of want to get out of the zone, just play some zombies. Who doesn't love zombies and killing zombies?
Shooting zombies. Come on, don't
and
get much better than that.
Yeah, it's awesome. I truly do enjoy that game. It's just something that is fun, just to sit down and play with a couple of your buddies and just see how long you can last from zombies. Because the games can be so frustrating too.
It's a survival game too, right? Which again, just like Crazy Taxi, there's no allotted time or how many kills you get. You have to do the right things to keep playing, to keep going. Yeah, and again, like you said, figuring out the different strategies to each map or to the certain bosses, because they all have bosses or dogs or monkeys or whatever you call them.
Or the little ticks or whatever, the special zombies or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, absolutely.
So even breaking down, like you said, breaking down the maps or everything.
Yeah, so you can expect something out of us, out of Call of Duty Zombies. It's either we're going to be breaking down our favorite moments from the game. But so, moral of the story is, we love Call of Duty Zombies and we love gaming, and we want to start with the ones that we kind of knew, like Crazy Taxi and Zombies. So we're going to start delivering some gaming content to you guys, either on this show or just on our YouTube page, at the PB Productions YouTube page. So just kind of check that out and just kind of keep a lookout for new content for video game wise, because that's definitely something that we want to start tackling more.
Yeah, definitely.
So now moving on to other production that we do, minus the gaming stuff. So we like to cook together. So we kind of just found things that we like to do, and we just want to decide to create content on it.
Yeah.
So we used to eat a lot of Cajun chicken wings.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how we even got started on that kick, but
I just remember I started loving Cajun all of a sudden. I just loved Cajun spices, and I was just like, Cajun's delicious. And then I'm pretty sure I was just like, I want chicken. I was just craving chicken wings one day. And then I was with my friend, and I asked her if she could make me some chicken wings. And I was like, I want Cajun on them, Cajun on them, Cajun on them. And she baked them, and I was like, these are the best things ever.
Yeah, baked them, right.
Baked them. And then I kind of told you about that, and then we just started making them all the time.
Exactly. No, you're right. And we started having them like at least once a week.
At least. Almost every single time we hung out.
Yeah, pretty much every time we were having a production like that day,
They're so cheap. It was like $3 for a pound.
Yeah, exactly.
You get a pound and a half, $4. It usually fills us up
spices.
for the night. You know, nice little snack. You're not full after them, but you're also feeling good.
And eventually, once we made them enough, we got the recipe down. We knew how long to cook them for, like, at the right temperature and the amount of time for the right crispiness and what we enjoyed. And we're like,
share it with the world.
Yeah, let's share this with the world. Why hide this for ourselves when everybody else can?
It's a hidden little gem.
Say thank you to us.
Yeah, try them out.
Cajun wings. So that was the first one we did. Yep, and that's when we also realized like how we had to start making a nice flow to the show, where we need to know what we're making, know how to make it, know how much of each ingredient to put in, and then actually figure out how to shoot it.
Yeah. Because you can't just blindly just shoot those videos and hope it turns out
right.
good.
Well, remember how food videos used to be all the time was one person be sitting there talking, and they still can, like Ramsay, you know, those are okay.
Yeah, they're still good. If you have a good personality, you can do that 100%.
Someone who's known, exactly, and he knows exactly what he's doing. But for us, we almost had to pre-plan everything.
Because we're not cooks, we're not chefs.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just home cooks, chefs.
Yes, but if you follow the ingredients and the directions correctly, you can make a lot of stuff. I was about to say anything. I know I can't make anything, so I'm not going to put that out there on everybody else. But generally, you should be able to follow the steps, and you can make a lot of amazing meals.
Yeah. But yeah, so we just started going along. We just started making different types of food, trying different foods out. We're like, let's turn this into a video. Let's turn this into a video.
Yeah.
So we've made a handful of videos. And, you know, speaking of all those videos that we made, what's kind of your favorite video that we've made?
Well, my favorite dish, if that's what you're trying to say, I would
well, sorry,
say.
The favorite food
that's
video
what you
that
mean.
I meant.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm thinking of, I love bacon and I love spice. So put those two together and make something nice. It was the bacon jalapeno quesadilla. Oh, mwah.
Yeah, those were delicious.
Yeah, just what a great combo.
Such simple
like
meals too. What you've always preached. Let's make something simple that everyone can make, and they're still delicious.
Yeah.
Just because they're simple doesn't mean it's not a good meal.
Well, I learned from a guy that I knew that worked at Qdoba, and he said he'd see people come in and just put everything, every ingredient that they could get, they'd
Sounds
put
like
on
a
there.
mess.
Yeah, and he's like, what are you really tasting? You don't even know. He's like, he'd pick like 5 main ingredients, and then you really taste all of those flavors the way they like come together. And, you know, bacon by itself is just
bacon's always good. If you look at some of our videos, bacon's in probably about 80% of
bacon
them.
or spice is probably in almost every video.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was definitely my favorite. A runner-up, maybe? Because it's tough because it was between that and the beef queso. Oh my god, that beef queso was amazing too. Like sometimes it's funny. Those are almost like appetizers. So I could just take appetizers all day. I don't always need an entree.
That's true.
So
we really haven't made too many entrees.
Right, but again, it's because we're trying to keep things simple.
Yeah.
And an entree sometimes you turn into some giant elaborate thing, and you know
it takes a
take
long time.
2 hours.
And someone might not be able to figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah. So
and it might be difficult to put on camera too, the style that we do it. You know?
Right, and
because you want to show most, if all the steps on camera, because you don't want people to miss something, and you're just like, oh, that's, you know, they can figure it out themselves. It's like that's why we make these quick little videos, because they're simple steps, just boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we always add in the description if there's a little more detail on something. So
yeah, and going back to that queso, it was Velveeta cheese, a block of Velveeta cheese, and then it was ground beef.
Yep, and then it was like a diced tomatoes, like chili tomatoes. Those were delicious, and then you just melt it all together, mix it up, some chips, and you're good.
It was so thick, like you just scooped it. It's so filling.
Again, super simple ingredients. It's something you can make for a party in like 20 minutes. Like it's
like
fantastic.
Oh my gosh, I need to go to Jeff's party. What do I do? What do I do?
Everybody, trust me, everybody that can eat beef, I guess, or you can make a vegan one if you want,
or chicken or something.
Yeah, but either way, like they're gonna eat it up. It's delicious. It'll go quick.
There was so much of it.
That
well, the brick was this big.
Yeah, the first time I actually tried it was at a party. They made some, and I was like, this is good.
Yeah,
I was like, what'd you put in this again? I'm like
Just
getting their
3
secret
things.
recipe. I'm like, all right, I can remember 3 things.
Yeah,
Like,
super simple, super good, super delicious,
Yeah.
quick, easy food.
But so if you had to pick your favorite, I know it's tough between a few. What would you say your favorite would be?
My favorite. Well, I think my favorite's got to be the pizza sliders that we made.
Oh, those again, little appetizers. I'm telling you, you can't go wrong.
Well,
A smorgasbord of appetizers. I'm always down for
they're
the
just
sample
so
platter.
delicious. They're on those Hawaiian rolls. You know,
Oh,
the packs where they
sweet,
come in
yep.
like
The
4
half,
and 3,
do it that
16
way.
of
Sweet
them.
Hawaiian rolls.
And all you did, it was simple. You cut them in half,
Yep.
got a little pizza sauce, and we did pepperoni pizza sliders. But you can do anything you want.
Any
you can
type,
do a meat.
yeah.
You can just do cheese.
Or just cheese
just
will be
cheese.
delicious, right?
Yeah, you just put the sauce down. You put some pepperoni or cheese, and then you put the tops back on. But this is where it
Your
really got
mozzarella.
good.
You got to get your
the
mozzarella.
mozzarella.
Maybe some basil.
Yeah,
no,
a little
no, we
basil.
didn't. I don't even think we added any spices. We didn't need to, but
No,
you could.
we
You
didn't. It was
could.
whatever spices was in the
Yeah,
sauce,
exactly.
basically. We just bought some nice canned sauce from a store that we thought looked good. But the best part was on top was that garlic butter spread.
I
stuff.
forgot about that
That's where all the
stuff.
spice was.
Yeah.
We took basically all it was a bowl with butter, and you just put whatever seasonings.
Yeah, it was like oregano and like some parsley and some stuff. Yeah,
Garlic powder.
Whatever we found
we
that.
just kind of threw it
actually.
together, mixed it up, and it turned into like this goopy paste almost, and
Yeah.
you just spread it right on top those pizza cheese sliders. And I just remember when we cut them open, the cheese was just
melted.
like,
Yeah, but no, you're right. That butter really did take it to the next level. I forgot how
Yeah.
much like
Yeah,
extra
because just a
flavor
little
that
snack
added.
pizza thing. It's like I could go make a pizza pocket or
Right.
something like that, but
Like
you add
case-
that butter on top,
Yeah,
and they're just so
a little bit of love.
just
They
one more.
disappeared. Yeah, because they're so small. Exactly, they're little bite-sized pieces. You're like, I guess I could do one more.
Yeah,
like
just-
if it was
just
a,
one
a
more. Famous last
sandwich or
words.
something. Yeah.
No, they're so good. But
Yeah,
you know,
that's
since
good.
you had an honorable mention, this is difficult to think about. The one that you introduced me was the green bean casserole. Now that
Ooh.
was delicious. Another simple one.
Yeah.
All it was the cream of chicken, some green beans. You spiced it up with some bacon,
Yes, again, bacon.
and then we just sprinkled some of those onion straws
the
on
fried
top.
onions, yeah.
Oh my god! I just love that it's got a little bit of everything. It's got that goop, it's got the green beans, got the bacon, and then you
Yep.
add that onion on top. It just kind
Yeah.
of brings it all together
Different,
into a nice.
yeah, a little crunch, a little savory. And one thing that I really like, because I've had that meal many times my whole life, but it's always been cream of mushroom soup. And I was thinking about it, I was like, it would go good with this bacon.
What goes good with the bacon?
Cream of chicken soup. So we tried the cream of chicken, and it really came out nice, like with the two together. It was a great combination. Right? That's another.
We've made
It's
a lot
tough,
of good
yeah,
meals.
It
yeah.
is really tough to pick, the favorites because they're all. We
Yeah,
only
you don't
make-
want to. You don't want to knock any of our foods because we don't want to feel bad.
but also, no, we only make things that we enjoy eating. We're
Yeah.
gonna make something delicious. We're not gonna make something that we don't enjoy.
no, absolutely.
So
So obviously it's a whole new show. It's new productions, and we took a break from doing cooking videos for a little bit. COVID happened. Transition moving into here. So immediately, what do? We started cooking up started thinking of new
Started some new
ideas.
ones.
Got a recipe book, started looking through those,
Yeah.
jotting down some notes. We have a whole kind of different process now in how we're kind of breaking down these cooking videos. We're brought the production value, but we're really excited for this one that we are about to bring to you. So you're about to get an exclusive video right here on Everyday Life. Paul and Steve, we're going to show you the Crunchwrap Supreme video. Roll the tape. Now, wow, that was delicious. I could go for one right now. Hey, where's our production staff? Why isn't there a Crunchwrap Supreme right here, right now, promoting it, nice and steamy?
You stay here, you talk to them. I'm gonna go make one. I'll be back in a little bit, okay?
Okay, we'll see how that's gonna happen. But hey, we, that video, that was our first brand new one, and we got multiple coming for you guys. We're gonna try and produce at least, once a week. We're gonna try and be breaking these down. We might not release them on the show like we just did with this one, but definitely on our YouTube page, PB Productions YouTube page.
Keep an eye out.
Look for the cooking videos on our page, on our playlist. You can see where all of our videos are, all that stuff, and we're going to be dropping new videos all the time, and give us some suggestions. If you want us to see us make something, we'll try it out.
Definitely.
We're always down to make some new food, so if you want us to make something, just shoot us a comment, shoot us, a message, and we'll take a look at it and we'll see what we can do. If we like it, we'll make it, and if not, we'll just make it because you guys sent it to us and you guys are our fans watching.
I mean, chicken parmesan, if anyone's out there. I've been pushing Paul on trying to do that one. It's up in the air, so we'll see. That sounds good though.
But just real quick, what do you have anything on your mind that you might want to be making something soon to tease anyone?
I have been thinking maybe try like a dessert or something. We haven't gone.
We have not went to that territory. That or breakfast.
Oh, that's good too. Mm-hmm. So we'll
you'll never know.
Get back to you on that. Yeah.
Well, like I said, just
we'll keep you updated.
Yep, we'll keep you updated on some new videos. Just check out our page once again, and you'll find some awesome cooking videos.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. That's gonna wrap up the second episode of Everyday Life with Paul and Steve.
And next episode, we're gonna talk a little bit about getting into some real estate, and also we're going to talk about some parks that we've been going to. A lot of hiking trails. Michigan is a beautiful place to travel and hike, and there's a lot of beautiful parks. So we're going to check some of those out and show you guys some footage and some pictures from those places around Michigan.
Yeah, it should be another good episode. So once again, I'm Paul.
And I'm Steve.
And we'll catch you next time on Everyday Life with Paul and Steve.